So we just wrapped up watching about an hour of practice, a light practice today. Also, Jim Larrañaga spoke to the media afterwards. Look, everybody's wondering what about Norchad Omier, so I'm going to get into some of my observations watching him from practice. Also with what Coach had to say, Anthony Walker spoke to the media as well as Bensley Joseph. So, and then they had a nice little send-off right out here. And then they're going to Albany tonight. So they got on the buses. They're going to take the flight tonight. They practiced here, obviously in Coral Gables. They're going to practice in Albany tomorrow afternoon on Thursday. And then on Friday, they're going to have the game at night, 7:25 Eastern on TBS. Okay, so my thoughts on Omier. First off, he came out here all smiles. Look, he had his ankle taped, but he did go through the shooting drills. Everybody did their own shooting drills. It was a light practice. They didn't do any half-court offense. They didn't even do a layup drill, so it was just about shooting today. They shot free throws. They did some individual work before it got started, and they also did some three-point shooting. And with Norchad, it was interesting just watching him out here. If you didn't know he was hurt, you wouldn't have thought that he's dealing with an injury, other than you could see a little bit of the white tape from his ankle. I watched him exclusively. I watched other players. I'm going to have a video on him so you can see for yourself. How did he look to you? Definitely drop in the comments on that video, but also let me know what you think if he's going to play. My opinion, I definitely think he's going to play. I think there were a few good moments in addition to him going through these shooting drills, and it wasn't anything big, but he did at one point go through a little bit of a slide shuffle from a 15-foot at each elbow spot, taking some shots, nothing 100%. A lot of the guys weren't going through it big time today because it was not that kind of a practice, but he was out here. There was also another moment. They were getting ready to stretch, and he had the ball, and he put down a two-handed standing dunk, and he gave a little smile, and his teammates had a good time with that. So I think there's no question he's going to play on Friday. I think the big question will be, can he withstand the injury? Does it get re-injured? Is it one of those things where he's going to be a little bit limited after getting hurt against Duke? That's going to be the thing to watch for. I do think he's going to start the game. Coach Larrañaga said we'll see, kind of taking still a wait-and-see approach to the situation. And obviously we'll see how things go in Albany at practice there. So the team will do some workout. They'll actually do a full team practice on Thursday in Albany. And I think fans, the way it usually works with NCAA tournament games, fans usually get a chance to watch the team go through a workout or a little light practice there also on Thursday. I'm not sure of that, but if you're in the area, definitely check that out if you can. I urge all fans to go to practice. It's always cool seeing not just Miami, but the other teams that are at the region. It's not just who they're going to face, but there's other teams in other brackets as well. So I urge anybody in the area to go check that out. It's always a good time. But again, I think Norchad's going to be out there. I think it was good seeing him out here today. It wasn't anything big, but just seeing him out here, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Another thing I enjoyed watching today's practice was watching Jordan Miller and Isaiah Wong, kind of trash talk each other during this competition with the free throw drill. It looked like it went down to the extra shots, and Isaiah ended up making a couple, and Jordan Miller missed one, so Isaiah won their little free throw competition as part of this free throw ladder competition that they always do. And they also did three-point shooting as well. But I just thought it was fun. And today's practice looked to me very similar to what I've seen all year long with being at these practices when I'm able to go and able to get out here for it, where they just, a loose group. And Coach Larrañaga always delivers a message to the team. They get in a circle, they do their claps, and his message to the team today was share the ball. And so he wants the team to share the ball, but also have fun. When they get to Albany, have a good time. And obviously he said, playing well and getting a win, playing together, those things are having fun. So they're going to try to have a fun approach to it. Another thing that stood out to me was how this team is approaching this game, in the sense that they kind of feel a little either disrespected or they feel counted out a little bit, even though that they're 5 seed, even though that they were the co-champs of the ACC. There's a little bit of doubt that they're feeling, and I find that to be interesting, because I was going to say, I really think this program has really, floated under the radar, and they really pride themselves on an underdog mentality. They're counted out. They're not a big-time program at some of these schools in the ACC, but they win games, and they beat teams, and they surprise people. That's essentially what they've prided themselves on. It's different now, and I think it's been different down the stretch. I didn't see this team play very well against Florida State when they were essentially had everything on the line. Now, they got it done against Pittsburgh, and they won against Wake Forest in the ACC tournament, but they didn't get it done against Duke either. And I think there's just a different mindset, a different approach you have to have as when you are the hunted. You are the top dog, you are the higher seed, you are the ACC champs, and I think this program is this team is gonna have to adjust to that. I think the big thing to watch for in Friday's game is going to be those first 5 minutes of the game. If Drake feels like they can be on the court with Miami, if they feel like this team isn't overwhelming athletically or with its size at certain positions, certainly Miami's smaller at the 5 spot, but the guards are a little bit bigger, more athletic. But if Drake gets off to a good start, if Tucker DeVries gets off to a good start shooting the ball, they're going to gain a lot of confidence that they can hang with Miami. And that's always difficult for the teams that are the favorite. But not only will they start to feel it, but typically in NCAA tournament games at these venues, the crowd, who is sometimes impartial going into a game, they start to root for the underdog. And I think that's going to be different for Miami this year compared to last year, where they were the higher seed, the double-digit seed throughout, and they were able to shock some people, get the fans, at the venues on their side a little bit there. It's going to be a little bit different because once Drake gets going, typically, and this is just from my experience of being at these tournament games, the crowd starts to favor. They tend to start cheering for the underdog. And Miami, like I said, they've felt like the underdog most of the time, but they've got a great team, and they certainly can win on Friday night. There are just some keys. I asked some of the keys with Anthony Walker, because they had the run last year, again, going to the Elite Eight. What are the keys, winning games at this time of year? And he said, and I thought this was a great point that he said, because I really believe in this, you've got to stay true to your identity, and Miami has to do that. They've got to get out and run. They've got to play to their strengths, particularly at the guard spots, with Isaiah Wong, Nigel Pack hitting threes, Jordan Miller getting buckets. And speaking of Jordan Miller, asked Jim Larrañaga about just the matchup that Jordan has going into it. I think he's going to be matched up with Tucker DeVries. And the way those two guys play, very similar in the fact that they can shoot it. They've got good all-around games, and Tucker's their leading scorer. He's certainly a big-time player, whereas Jordan is as well, even though Isaiah was the player of the year in the conference, has earned some All-American honors to Isaiah, and Jim was certainly very happy with that and excited to hear that Wong is garnering these awards. That's good to hear. Again, last practice here in Coral Gables. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see him next week, but if not, it's been great covering this team. We'll see how everything goes. Definitely stay locked into InsideTheU.com for live updates on the team during the game. It's a great time to chat with everybody else. Also, stay tuned to the channel. I'm gonna have video from practice. Once again, video of Norchad Omier, so you get a chance to see what you think of him. How did he look? Maybe there's things I didn't notice. Maybe there's some things that maybe if you've dealt with ankle injuries that he's favoring a little bit more than what I initially thought. So drop in the comments below on that. Definitely want to appreciate everybody for watching. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day, and take care.